Moany Monday, Moany Monday,
Moany
Monday! I've decided I'm going to do this every week. On a Monday, I'm going to find something that I want to moan about, because God knows us British people like to moan. So why not start with a subject dear to my heart, something I'm very passionate about: breastfeeding. Okay, so let's get this moment started. Right. So a lot of people in this world, for some reason or another, find breastfeeding uncomfortable to be around. As a breastfeeder myself, I don't understand. Can't really put myself in their shoes and know where they're coming from. But I can totally understand it. It's understandable. You might have been sexually assaulted, or I don't know, you're just not comfortable with breasts for some reason, or you've been brought up to be ashamed of the human body, to see it as something sexual when it's not. And that's nothing wrong with. It's not something. I mean, it's been put on you from your parents and society, basically. But that's not to say that it's their fault. It's society as a whole's fault, and companies' faults for making it. But we'll get on to that subject soon. Let's get on to point number one. The first thing people say about people that breastfeed is, oh, they're flaunting it, they want people to see their boobs, they're just like getting them out for their reason, just because they can flaunt their body. Okay, I got an issue with this, right? I've got a big issue with this. If you think that's me, you have not seen these boobs, well, unless you watch my videos, then you might have seen my boobs. These big boobs right here, right? If you've got big boobs, if you've not got big boobs, then you don't know where I'm coming from. But my boobs are not fake, so they hang naturally. If they're fake, my nipples would be like this, and my boobs would stay how they are. No. When I take my bra off, my boobs sag a little, and my nipples actually point like this, down. So, how dare you say I'm trying to flaunt my body? I actually would rather not get my breast out in front of people. The reason I do it on my videos is just because it's part of life, and it's nice for a breastfeeding mum to see pictures of people breastfeeding and breastfeeding in normal life on videos, or how-to videos, how to express, or how to unlatch, latch, or whatever. And it's nice for people to see people breastfeeding in public, because then it's a form of support, and it makes you think, oh, I'm not the only one doing it, I'm not the only one going through this, other people are doing it, and look how natural it is. And you might not want to give up breastfeeding, because that can be really bad for you. People that suffer from PTSD PTSD? It's not a thing. Get it right, Laura. People that suffer from postnatal depression, basically, if they are breastfeeding, it can help against postnatal depression. It won't stop you getting it, just like other things in breastfeeding, but it can lessen the impact. And also, if you stop breastfeeding before you are ready, due to society pressures, or pressures just from within yourself, or you've got a bad latch and it's hurting and you just can't deal with it anymore, it can worsen your postnatal depression, because you feel like you've let yourself down, which you haven't. You haven't let yourself down. Even like 1 hour of breast milk will count, especially the colostrum, the first milk. But when you're a breastfeeding mum, it's your womanhood. It's what a woman does, breastfeeds. So a woman can produce milk. That's an amazing thing your body can do. And if you really feel like that and you really want to breastfeed, when you can't breastfeed, or society's made you feel like you shouldn't breastfeed, it can make you feel really down. But yeah, I'm getting off the subject. Basically, women are not flaunting it and making them feel like that they shouldn't be able to show their support to other women by photos, videos, and breastfeeding them in public is not a good thing, because it can do damage. And also, breastfeeding in public is needed because your baby needs to eat. But I will go on to that point in a minute. Number 2. Other reason people are against breastfeeding, or another reason they use against it, there's a lot of sick people and paedophiles around, and you are just giving them what they want. Hold up. So, do you cover yourself head to toe? Have you got nothing on your body showing? No? Okay, you're a hypocrite then, There's strange people around and paedophiles, give you that, yeah. But you cannot protect yourself from them. You can't stop yourself living your life just so you can, sorry I say I know. Just so you can stop them looking. There's some sick people that like, well, I'm not saying all foot fetishes. There's a foot fetish, right? There's fetish of everything. Just take foot fetish. So it's not wrong to have a foot fetish, but you could be a paedophile with a foot fetish. And then, do you cover your feet all the time in summer and stuff? Do you not wear sandals? No. There's people that have hand fetishes. Do you always wear gloves? There's leg fetishes. There's people that might find, I don't know, part of your face attractive. There's all different types of fetishes. There's too many, not all alone. And the other problem I have with that is they're looking at the child, not you. So breastfeeding is not sexual, and it's not part of the child. Your child is there, and if you're a paedophile, you'll be looking at the child anyway without your boob attached. And if you're a wrong one looking at me, there's women, I mean I'm showing the cleavage now, and there's women that wear, I don't know, they have like, I can't think right now, but let's just say this is, I don't know, some women have their boobs out like this on the street. Millions of boobs like, hey. I'm just walking down the street with my boobs out. No one will find anything wrong with this and say, oh, there's wrong people looking at you. I mean, some people do. Some people will be like, oh, you're not putting the right message across or whatever. But if you're comfortable with this, that's fine. And if you're comfortable with breastfeeding in public, that's fine. You can't control what other people think of you. Which is the message I'm going to get through in a minute as well. Number 3, and this is a big one. This is what a lot of people say to breastfeeding people. Why can you not just, let's make an example. Why can you not just get a cover and cover yourself? No. You do not tell a woman what she can and cannot do, and you're not in her situation. Okay, so let's just say a woman, some people, I know, they might want a cover. I know when I first had my first child, I bought a cover, or I just used a muslin, and I wanted to cover, and a few times I did cover until I got my confidence up. But it was an off faffing around most of the time, because you'd put the cover on, and then nope, the child would get it off again. You put it on again, child would get it off again, put it on again. Oh, your child gets it off again. If I sat in a restaurant and you saw this, you'd pay a lot more attention than if I was just like, see what I mean? It's a lot more attention. You're bringing more attention to yourself by doing that, and plus you're stressing yourself out because your child does not want that cover on. If you want to cover, and you can cover because your child lets you, that's fine. If you don't want to cover, that's fine also. Don't let people say what you cannot do. I mean, some people were like, oh, do you want to cover your face? Because it's making me feel sick. I don't know, if you're that rude to somebody. I'll just walk around this because I'm upsetting you. I tell you what, why don't you get your food, go, sit in a restaurant, put your food under the blanket and sit like this and eat. If I eat my food like this, right, it'd be weird, wouldn't it? So why does a baby have to sit and eat their food like this? Plus in the summer you'll be really hot and stuffy and it's hard to breathe and you can't see your baby, so if you've got a large boob like me, you might accidentally suffocate them in your boob. Plus part of the reason of breastfeeding is to bond, and you want to look at them and be like, oh, look at my baby, look at my body nourishing my baby. And if you've got a cover on you like this, you're cutting your baby off from you, you're not bonding, your baby's not bonding to you. It's just, get this cover like this, screw it all up and go, that, F you to that cover. Don't let people tell you to use a cover if you don't want to. Number 4. Okay, so this is a problem. This is part of the reason why people that have never breastfed or have never tried to do anything about breastfeeding should shut their traps. Just zip. Because if you've tried this, then you know how difficult it is. But number 4 is, why do you not pump your milk? And why do you not pump your milk and bring it out to feed in a bottle when you go out and just feed your breast at home? Okay, so there's a lot of mums out there that are exclusively pumping and feeding their baby for latching issues or just their own choice so dad can join in, or other reasons unknown. Or maybe they're giving donated milk to their baby. That's fine. Hats off to them. Do you know what? Because that has got to be a difficult job to live your life, and then also on top of living your life, express for hours and hours and end. Take time out of your life and do that is not easy. So hats off to them. But to say that a mum should express their milk to bring out, hello, the taps are right there. Why do you need to bring a bottle out with you when they're just there? It's like to feed an object, really. Would you like, I don't know, bring a bottle of Pepsi out with you and then order a Pepsi when you've already got some Pepsi in your bag? It's like that. It's the equivalent of doing that. But for a start, pumping's really hard. Some people can't do it. Some people go through pump after pump after pump, not finding one that gets anything out. And nothing coming out of your boob when you're pumping doesn't necessarily mean that you can't breastfeed. You're still nourishing your baby by the boob. But some women just cannot get milk out by expressing. And if they can, it can take hours. I get about this much, tiny amount, for about an hour of pumping. So to get a whole feed, to get a whole bottle, I don't know how much your baby would want, but you'd probably want a whole bottle just to be safe. To get a whole bottle, you would need hours on end. You'd probably need a whole day to pump, for me anyway, personally for me, and maybe for others, or you'd need more because you can't pump. Also, once you've pumped, it only lasts 6 hours, so if you're going out for a whole day, say you're going out for a day trip and you pumped, you wouldn't be able to bring the milk with you, because when you need it later on in the day, it'd be ruined, it'd be spoiled, and you're about to give it to your child. And then what you're going to do, you feed them for the first 6 hours, and then for the other 6 hours after that, or however many long, you're going to starve your child, because you can't feed out your boobs when they're right there. it's not logical, and when it comes out your boobs, it's at the right temperature, it's made for the baby at that precise moment, it's got the antibodies for whatever cold it's fighting and stuff like that. You've got to faff around. I mean, when you choose to bottle feed, that's fine. When you've got your boobs right there and you can feed from your boobs and you want to feed from your boobs, feed from your boobs, okay? Number 5. Okay, I have a big issue with this one. It's not necessarily a breastfeeding issue. It's not a problem with breastfeeding. I have this. It's a problem with this. This is a big problem in society, right? Because number 5 is, you need to cover that up because my child can see it, or my teenager can see it. Oh my god, just kill me now. What planet am I living on? Your child can see another person nourishing their child, giving their child food. It's not hard to explain to a child. Mummy, why is that child on that woman's boob? Oh, it's having milk, darling. Oh, okay. Walks off. And then maybe maybe the child doesn't walk off. Maybe it's like, why? Because that's how some babies feed. Is that as easy to explain to another child, why the woman's doing what she's doing, why that baby's on that woman's boob breast? It's not going to destroy your child's life to see a woman breastfeeding. It's just a baby drinking milk. It's not a big deal. Your child might find it a big deal if you're like, oh yeah, don't look at that child. Then that child grows up thinking, oh no, we can't look at that. It's a woman's breast. Oh my god, I'm gonna die from looking at a woman's breast. I'm gonna be messed up. I'm gonna turn into a serial killer when I'm older now. Oh, I cannot do it. Children, there's nothing wrong with nudity either. That's what I'm on about, right? There's nothing wrong with nudity. It's sexual nudity you things wrong with. If your child's walking down the street and there's a person fucking someone else on a bench, then by all means call the police and get them arrested for public indecency and shout at them and get your child to be like, oh no, don't look at that. And you can wrong them and be like, yeah, that's something your children shouldn't see. If you're just walking down the street and there's people just stood there randomly naked, if that was my child, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, no, don't look. Unless they're doing something wrong with it or they look dodgy looking. It's not their body I wouldn't be saying don't look at. That's just a body. Everyone's got one. Men and women are different, but all men are the same and all women are the same, basically. And it's just like what God's give you. I just don't know. I don't know where to start with that. I mean, what if you go on a nudist beach? There's nudist beaches around. They wouldn't be existing if the naked body was something to be ashamed of. And I don't want my child to grow up thinking that she should be ashamed of her body. It's a natural thing. There's appropriate places where you should and shouldn't be naked, and appropriate people that should and shouldn't see you naked. If you're uncomfortable with it. If you're comfortable with them seeing you naked, that's totally fine, as long as they're not like paedophiles or something. But at the end of the day, it's just like a naked body. It's just what you were born with. You're born naked. God didn't. If you needed to wear clothes, God wouldn't have made you born with clothes. You just wear clothes for seasonal reasons, and for your own comfortable limit. But yeah, that just gets on my nerves when people say that I'm going off the point now. I'm going into nudity and all that instead of breastfeeding. But basically, when your child sees a woman breastfeeding, all you've got to say is, "Oh, that's a person feeding their child, darling." And then if they're a bottle fed and they say, "No, you feed them out of a bottle," you say, "You can do what you want. Women can get milk out their breasts, but you can use a bottle if you want, if you don't want to breastfeed. But women have milk coming out of boobs. It's that easy." And teenagers, I mean, they get embarrassed about everything. I got embarrassed from buying Tampax when I needed it, or tampons or whatever, towels. I got embarrassed about everything basically, and most teenage girls that wear makeup won't want to be seen dead without their makeup on. They'd be embarrassed about that. You get embarrassed by your parents, then you love them afterwards when you're not a teenager anymore. Teenager years are embarrassing. They might be embarrassed if they see a woman breastfeeding and be like, hee 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 hee, giggling. That's just being a teenager. That doesn't mean the breastfeeding's wrong and they shouldn't see it. All my family have been around breastfeeding and none of them see anything wrong with it. If my teenage cousins and nieces and nephews, or say, see anyone breastfeeding, or if the children see anyone breastfeeding, they're just like, oh look, someone's feeding their baby. How cute. And they just move on. They brought up around it. But people that are brought up to be with their mums are like, oh my god, don't look, then that's why they see it as something wrong, because you're making them